Good evening. This is Rudy Giuliani, and this is America's Mayor Live. And we are live from the city of New York. That's right, from the city of New York. And the reality is, we are in a beautiful hotel in the city of New York, and I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna show you the hotel. There it is. If you want to see it, right there. It is the Lexington Hotel. See it? Lexington Hotel. That's the Lexington Hotel. It's right on Lexington Avenue, of course. Lexington Avenue is the back of the Waldorf Hotel, which would be approximately 2 blocks away. You could get into the back entrance of the Waldorf. In fact, you could get into one of their best bars through the back end of the Waldorf. And at one time, this was a hotel, certainly in the class of the Waldorf, which now it's better than because the Waldorf doesn't exist. And it is still a very, very, it's a 5-star hotel. And then there are about 3 or 4 hotels in New York that are 5-star plus, I would say, like the Pierre, right? The Ritz-Carlton, maybe. But this hotel is magnificent, and it's very old-fashioned. And I'm going to tell you something else about it that you're really. Did you show them the? Did you show them the facade of the hotel? Right. You can't get much nicer than that, right? Don't be afraid. They don't have a barbershop anymore, which means mafia guys aren't getting killed in here anymore. But they do have, and I haven't been able to locate. And if I do tomorrow, I will show you this. I haven't been able to locate. For you, but will when I can. This room, I want you to look at this room. Well, you say to yourself, well, that looks just like an ordinary room. But I'm telling you, if you come here, and I don't know what you think that 5,760 times 3,840, that's the dimensions of the room? 5,000 what? It's not 5,000 feet. Inches? Well, that was Marilyn Monroe's favorite room. And this is not far from where her marriage to Joe DiMaggio got messed up because she was on a grate when she was doing Everybody Loves Blondes or something like that. And her skirt got inadvertently, blown up, and you could see her underwear, and everybody took pictures of it. DiMaggio was a block away watching the movie being filmed. And DiMaggio was a real old-fashioned Italian guy. And he went crazy that his wife's legs were shown like that. I guess he hadn't looked at some of the earlier pictures of Marilyn before she became a star. But this was her hotel when she was, before Joe. This had to be a hotel. This had to be a room when she wasn't much of a star, unless this is just a bedroom of a suite. This could be the bedroom of a suite. They don't give you much more information about it other than that. We also are, I might as well show them all at once. We also are exactly 0.2 of a mile from that spot right there. Now you want to take a look at that picture and tell me what that is. Anybody can guess what that is. Show them that one, Ted. See, I'm back home, so I'm getting homesick for mafia killings. Those are the remains of Paul Castellano, the former head of the Genovese crime family, killed on December 18th of 1985, killed by 2 Sicilians who walked right up to him and Johnny Bellotti, his bodyguard or some bodyguard, and blew him away as they were entering the restaurant we're going to dinner in when we finish the show, to honor Newsmax, because tomorrow Newsmax is going to ring the bell at the stock exchange. I believe they've been on the exchange for 2 days now, and they're selling at quite a price at this point. Find out what they're selling at right now. But in any event, they are, and I should also tell you, so you understand, this is not an advertisement to buy it or anything. I am a stockholder, so $52. Not a I don't have control or anything like that or any inside information, but I am a stockholder. And so is Dr. Maria. So whenever you hear her, you should understand we both are stockholders in Newsmax. And Newsmax is having a party at Sparks. So Sparks is the restaurant where Castellano was going to dinner at 5:30 at night with Johnny Bellotti, and before he could have the wonderful steak or veal parmesan, which you could get at Sparks because it was half Italian, half steak, he got sent to eternity. Across the street, watching in a large pre-Christmas crowd at 5:30 was none other than John Gotti and Sammy the Bull. Why? Because John Gotti wanted to make sure it was done right. He was a control freak about murder. And it was done right. He was wiped away. It was one of the classic hits, one that they teach in hit school. The two Sicilians dressed up in raincoats. I don't remember if they were tan or dark. I think they were dark, but they were definitely trench type coats. Very well, look like two very tall, well-dressed young men. But boom, 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 the gun came out. Bellotti on one side, Paul on the other, gone, finished. And they walked away. They didn't run away. Step number one in hit school. Number two, halfway down the block, as they headed east, because the street it's on is an east to west, west to east street. As they headed east, at some point along the way, as they approached 2nd Avenue, they took one trench coat off and tossed it in a. And then as they were going between 2nd and 1st, a little further down, right, the other guy took his trench coat off. Now, one would expect that they had suits on. No, they didn't have. They had black leather jackets on, if I recall correctly. So now here's why they did this. People rush there. Police immediately are collecting information. It's a crime scene, right? Gotti's across the street, sees it's done right, and takes off with Bellotti. And the police say, we're looking for two tall, dark-haired guys, or maybe with a hat on, in trench coats. Now, usually you'd be looking for somebody running through the crowd. These guys walked. They walked to 1st Avenue. They got in a car. They went to JFK, and before anybody could even say they were Italian, Sicilian hitmen, they were on their way to Palermo. It took a long time to solve that case, but they eventually did, and John Gotti died where he should, in jail. Crime doesn't pay. That's the beginning story on America's Mayor Live tonight. That is what happens to you. Boys and girls, if you want to be a mobster, if you want to be a terrorist, if you want to be part of Tren de Aragua or MS-13 or the illegal migrants that come in and rape and kill people, or the other organized crime groups or the gangs that may be in their school, there is a good chance you will end up like that guy. And he was on trial, and he cost me a conviction. 2 convictions. I could have had 2 more convictions if they didn't shoot these 2 guys, which is, Now, people say to me, as a government official, you should have been happy about that because they'd maybe still be in jail and you'd still be paying for them. I still preferred the convictions. Which gets me to the crime that is driving me the craziest now. It used to be a migrant crime, and it still is, largely because completely unnecessary, completely introduced by Joe Biden, and completely created by their cheating on the 2020 election. Meaning, you go back a few steps, if they hadn't cheated on the 2020 election, Trump would have won. If Trump would have won, these people never would have come in. Now, look at the difference. Last year in March, 1,600 people came in. This year in March, 700 people came in. Oh, but that was after Biden started cracking down. Ha ha ha. He had months with 5,000 people coming in to now 760. I'll make another difference for you. Most of that 760, 70% at least are going back. Reverse it. 80% of the 3,000 were coming in to rape you. and don't give me this crap. They're not criminals. Are they all criminals? Of course not. But what does it matter? They come in such large numbers, the criminals hide among them and then violate us in numbers unheard of for a foreign invasion. 60% of the crime in some of the boroughs in New York here are committed by migrants. 2 blocks from here is the Roosevelt Hotel. If we were here 3 weeks ago, if I want to walk the block, 2.5 blocks from here to Sparks, who knows what could have happened? It was a high crime area. This was always, the only people who got killed here were Mafia people, right? And they don't miss. They don't have collateral damage. And if they do, they become collateral damage. So this effort against Tesla is outrageous. It's outrageous. And it is completely sponsored by the Democrat contributors and party. There's a senator who looks like a normal woman, right? She's a state senator. Her name is State Senator Pat Fahey, a member of the corrupt Albany hellhole legislature. And she, this whack woman or communist woman or whatever the hell she is wants to bar. Here, this is her. I mean, she looks like a normal woman, right? Look at her, Ted. She looks like a normal woman, right? This is Senator. I want you to get to know that face. This is Senator Pat Fahey. Tell me this doesn't contribute to whack jobs trying to kill people who have Tesla. Could you please leave her on for a minute so people can see her? Tell me it doesn't lead to people killing people and destroying people and bombing people. You know why? She wants to introduce a legislation barring sales of Tesla in New York. I can't even wrap my mind around just how unconstitutional it is. It may violate every damn provision of the United States Constitution. You nitwit, you un-American nitwit, and at a time in which people are being killed, you do this, jackass? And I'm looking at you, Fahey. Get the hell out of public office. You jackass. You're going to ban sales of Tesla? God almighty, you were probably licking all over the Tesla cars a year ago because they're EV cars, right? Now you put Nazi symbols on them. And you don't think that stupid, idiotic, ridiculous law you have in mind doesn't encourage the morons that follow your political party to bomb Teslas, to use Molotov cocktails? They did it in 50 places this weekend. You got terrorist lovers like Pray Pal, Pop Pal, whatever the hell her name is, who's given lessons on how to do it peacefully, except there hasn't been one peaceful one. Peacefully, yeah, peacefully like 2020, when you peacefully destroyed Minneapolis, when you peacefully burned down Milwaukee, when you peacefully burned down St. Louis. Peaceful to you guys means at least one major fire, like at Columbia. I don't know if we have Chad Rittenberg, 55, who was convicted in Pennsylvania by a Tesla owner because he was marking the car up. He scratched up the car with SWAT stickers, and he was caught on tape. Do we have Rittenberg's tape? Well, we don't want this to look like it's singular. This is happening hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. They organized for 500 of these things over the last weekend. They ended up with about 50, thank God, but they did a lot of damage. They burned things down. They used Molotov cocktails. They shot at people. They destroyed cars. They destroyed showrooms. Now, think about this, my good friends. This is an attack on the American people. This isn't just an attack on. It's an attack. People buy Teslas because they like Teslas. We have a good friend. I'm not going to tell you who it is because they'll come after him. He's on this show occasionally. And he loves the Tesla. He loves to take me for rides in it and show me the things it can do. It has a, I mean, Elon, don't get upset. I've never been a big fan of electric cars. I don't believe in them. They're against my religion. My religion is gasoline, fossil fuels. I believe God put them there for us to use them responsibly and well. That's why he put them there for us. And that's why he led us to the discovery of fracking when we thought we were out of it. Turns out we can have the most natural gas in the world here in America. That's how he taught us how to use the processes that make it extremely clean, so we don't have any more pollution in America. And if we use more fossil fuels, we wouldn't have any more pollution in America. This is a con job of the greatest order by Marxists who are trying to destroy us. This green thing, and the half-wits in Europe who also do things like look at France. France imprisoned the #1 candidate for president because we'll get into that a little later on a pretext charge, which has to tell you Europe, Western Europe, forget it. I don't even know why we're investing in it. Why don't we work with the countries that want to work with us in Eastern Europe, the countries that want to work with us in Asia, spend a little time with our good friends in South America, and pick up a few more friends in Africa. And let's have some really good military backups for us. I don't know, U.S. and Israel is a pretty good tag team, huh? Wouldn't mind Taiwan on my side. They've been getting ready to fend off a much bigger country for a long, long time. Long time. Poland? Hungary? Lithuania, tiny, but American soldiers just got killed there. I think we probably know who killed them. If it wasn't an accident, we don't know that. But if it wasn't, we know who was behind it. You put them all together now. We take Lithuania and Latvia and Estonia. Maybe even Finland. They got a lot at stake with the Russian bear hanging out there. The big risk is if he makes peace in Ukraine, he's going to start getting hungry for the Balkans. You can't discount that. I personally don't think so. But I sure as heck am not going to discount that. And I sure as heck am not going to have that on the, we better be prepared for it board. Who knows with Putin, right? Who knows? Hard to tell. So the Tesla task force, I hope, gets some quick, big wins to set these bullies back, but also starts to do a little of the most interesting part of investigating, which is following the money. These people are well financed. It's got to be the same group that did 2020 and 2024 and that is now putting money in. It's got to be Soros and friends. I mean, the guy has already been responsible for more killings in the United States in the last 5 or 6 years, particularly of black people. I don't know why he isn't named Racist of the Year. There's nobody that I can think of in recent times that is responsible for the murder of more black people than him, with the DAs that he's put in office who allow out on the street people who are prone to killing black people. And in the places where records were set by Soros DAs, excuse me, they were all Soros prosecutors. So let's take St. Louis. St. Louis had a Soros DA. St. Louis set records for murder, more homicides than ever before. 7 to 8 out of 10 of the people who died were black. You knew that in advance. Well, when we come back, we'll catch up on the good news and the bad news about yesterday's political races. We'll be right back.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets.
I'm interrupting this commercial to do something I've never done before. Get 2 MyPillows absolutely free on orders of $100 or more. I can't do this forever, so get on board with this great sale today. Our best-selling 6-piece bath towel sets or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Our famous standard MyPillows only $14.98. Queens $18.98. King size only $1 more. Body pillows $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bed sheet sets. Any size, any color. So go to MyPillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And when you spend $100 or more, get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
Tired of volatile stocks and tiny dividend yields? Here's something different. Imagine collecting steady monthly income from America's richest oil fields without owning a single oil stock. While everyone else stresses about the market, you could be earning passive royalty income month after month. This unique investment has nothing to do with drilling, exploration, or operations. You simply collect your share of the profits when oil companies pump oil. The Oxford Club's Mark Lichtenfeld has found what he calls the perfect income investment, a unique oil royalty opportunity that's still flying under Wall Street's radar. And you can get started with just $25. Head to rudyoilboom.com now to discover more. That's rudyoilboom.com. Stop worrying about the market and start collecting oil royalty checks instead. Okay. This is Rudy Giuliani back with you on the America's Mayor Live. Now we're back. And I see on the Chiron here that China's tariffs are 67% and our reciprocal is 34%. So in the effort to do reciprocal tariffs, Trump has actually moderated it to half. So we're still giving these countries a bit of a break. And maybe that is because of the fears of what could happen in the market or whatever. But I don't know what the tariff was before it was 34. I think it was like 10. So China would put 67% on us and we put 10% on China. No wonder they ate our lunch, huh? And no wonder they had such they have a powerful economy because we supported it, just like we gave money to Iran so they could kill us and the Jews. Something wrong with us, huh? Well, two big elections yesterday. Three big elections, but in 2 different states, and they came out very differently. Well, let's go with the bad one first. The bad one was in the state of Wisconsin, where Susan Crawford, right, left-wing crazy nut, will go on the state Supreme Court. Now it doesn't change the state Supreme Court. It's made up of left-wing crazy nuts, 4-3. They did a totally dishonest opinion 4 years ago in allowing the state to be stolen for the guy who allowed so many Ukrainians to be killed, Biden, and so many Americans of fentanyl. I hope they're really proud of how many people they got killed by a completely, what do you call Biden? He's he's an incompetent president. He's a criminal president. He's a perverted president. He's a president who presided over more murder than any other president in American history other than the time of war. He's a deviant. His family is no different. He sold out to China, may have sold out to Russia. Thank you, Wisconsin, for voting for him. And thank you, Supreme Court of Wisconsin, in rendering a completely intellectually dishonest opinion that upheld the stealing of the vote. Now you're back and you're left wing again. So now, right next to Minnesota, you can take over the overload of abortions they do in Tampon Tim State, where, if the kid gets born, they let it die. I noticed you were all celebrating because you're now going to be able to kill 5-month-old, 6-month-old, 7-month-old, 8-month-old, even 9-month-old fetuses if you want. How do you do that, guys? What is it going to help? Is it going to help the hatchet industry, or what do? How do you kill the baby? And when you finish, where do you sell the organs? Are you sick? And then what about the fact that we know very soon you're going to do what your sister left-wing loony state, Minnesota, does, and you're going to allow 12-year-olds to come there and get mutilated without the permission of their parents. Because at the core, do you realize you voted for the communists? The big fight in America is between our children, the property of the teachers union, the communist teachers union, / the property of the state, as Karl Marx and Stalin and Hitler wanted, or are they beneficiaries of their parents, and their health and well-being is looked after by their guardians, their parents, until they're 18, not the state. You're the state. We're the parents. Wisconsin, you voted for the state to take over your kids. You voted for the state to mutilate them without input from parents. You voted for a continuation of the communist teachers union dominating your failing educational system and resisting scholarships, money for vouchers, charter schools, private schools, parochial schools, homeschooling, in all the places where education is going up. We're creating competition. In all the places where education is going down, we're letting the teachers union, and she is a candidate bought and paid for by the teachers union. She's even promised us that she's going to deliver a Democrat Congress. That'll be really nice. We'll be listening to impeachments for 2 years that are just as useless, just as fraudulent, just as criminal as the ones they did before. But judges like the one you elected won't prosecute anybody but Republicans. What is wrong with you? I'll stay out of that state for a while. Whoa. You just voted for Trump. And what are you voting for? You're voting for men in women's sports, men in women's rooms. I bet you Judge Crawford can't define a woman, just like the jerk on the Supreme Court. Anybody ask her? Luckily, we gained in the House with all that. Now, this could mean a disaster in the House if they redistrict and do the usual gerrymandering that the crooked Democrats do in Wisconsin. But right now, Randy Fine and Jimmy Petronas both won easily. They were expected, and the Democrats were hoping it was going to show a real erosion in support for Trump. The only thing it showed, less people turned out. They won by double digits, both of them. No effect at all. Apparently, they're not weak-minded like the people in Wisconsin. These people have stronger minds than you do. Because when you can vote for a person like Crawford, I'm sorry, there's something wrong with your intellect or your Americanism. I don't want a judge that wants to chop up kids. You think that's a political issue? Or do you think that's a life and death issue? I think it's a life and death issue. Well, we lost a really great actor. I'm sure almost all of you really love Val Kilmer, who was a really, really great actor. I mean, he was in so many great movies. He was in The Island of Dr. Moreau with Marlon Brando. Anytime you can star with Marlon Brando, you learn how to be a better actor. He was in True Romance. He was in Heat. He was in Batman Forever. But I don't know. The one I like best is the one that he reprised, and he looked very sickly when he did in the second recent version of it. And of course, that was Top Gun, which he made. I guess it was in the 1990s, 1984. Lieutenant Tom Iceberg Kazansky, opposite Tom Cruise in Top Gun, 1986. It was the highest grossing movie of 1986, and it's the one that made him a star. Do we have anything from it?
Well, not that specific movie, but we do have some Val Kilmer clips. Yeah.
Oh, that's from that movie?
Yeah. I didn't recognize that.
Now you should watch the new 30 years later, Top Gun, when Val Kilmer is obviously suffering from a serious disease. I think they actually have his funeral in the movie, and had become an admiral and brings his old friend back for a very special mission. And the scene between the two of them, oh gosh, since you know what was going to happen, will make you cry. But I'll save that for you. Also, maybe his best role was playing Jim Morrison in The Doors, in which he did his own singing, which will give you an idea of what a full, totally rounded actor he was. He was born and raised in Los Angeles, but he went to Juilliard in New York, where he studied acting, and he obviously also learned how to sing. And there's a 2021 documentary called Val, which, if you want to see it, it won several awards. It's a high value, really good documentary. Yeah. Sometimes documentaries are just splashed together. Right. This is a really, really good one. So I'm going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets.
I'm interrupted this commercial to do something I've never done before. Get 2 MyPillows absolutely free on orders of $100 or more. I can't do this forever, so get on board with this great sale today. Our best-selling 6-piece bath towel sets or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Our famous standard MyPillows only $14.98. Queens $18.98. King size only $1 more. Body pillows $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bed sheet sets. Any size, any color. So go to mypillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And when you spend $100 or more, get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
Tired of volatile stocks and tiny dividend yields? Here's something different. Imagine collecting steady monthly income from America's richest oil fields without owning a single oil stock. While everyone else stresses about the market, you could be earning passive royalty income month after month. This unique investment has nothing to do with drilling, exploration, or operations. You simply collect your share of the profits when oil companies pump oil. The Oxford Club's Mark Lichtenfeld has found what he calls the perfect income investment, a unique oil royalty opportunity that's still flying under Wall Street's radar. And you can get started with just $25. Head to rudyoilboom.com now to discover more. That's rudyoilboom.com. Stop worrying about the market and start collecting oil royalty checks instead. Well, as you know, one of the things that I am most concentrated on, and let me just give you another tariff update here. The tariff from India was 52%. I believe our tariff was 10%. We've now upped it to 26%. So if you watch this carefully, he's given them a little break on reciprocal, right? So far, it looks like most of these tariffs, he's moving it up dramatically from where America was before. But in order not to hurt the American consumer in this interim period, or at least minimize the hurt to the American consumer, he's going with half. So obviously it'll have less than impact on the price, may have no impact on the price. And South Korea, very similar, 50% tariff on South Korea for us, on us, and a 25% tariff on them. So I don't know what they're crying about, and I don't know what the Wall Street Journal is crying about. If they're charging 50% for the things we sell them, why, in the name of God, aren't we charging 50% what they sell us? But if we want to consider that, I don't know, we're richer or whatever, okay, how about more than 5 or 10%? Some of them were 3%. China was 67%, 3.4. One point we were down to about 3% with China. But I think he straightened that out, and Biden kept it that way, actually. I guess he was afraid to move that around. It would have looked too obviously a quid pro quo for the $31 million he and his family got from the Red Chinese. So my request to the president, if I could make a request, please take out the nuclear facilities in Iran. If you go up on the board here, hopefully I can show you the main ones. I'll show you how obvious they are. And they're not, this is not everyone. And these are the ones that are at least publicly acknowledged. So let's put them on and let's put them up there. Okay. So let's go. So now we have, first we have nuclear power plants. Of course, you need nuclear power plants. And you see that they're real close. They're real close. There they are, right there. Let me just get this right for you here. They're real close. Right there. Right there. Yep. Very easy to get to those. They're just a little trip over Jordan. Bam. Hit those right on the western fringe of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Now, if we want to look for some research reactors, we got three nice ones here. We've got one in Iraq, which we've actually come close to hitting before. We have one in Isfahan, and we have one, oh my goodness, in Tehran. Gee, I mean, you got to be careful with the one in Tehran, Mr. President and Bibi, because you could hit the Ayatollah. We wouldn't want that to happen, would we? No. Then we have uranium enrichment plants. So the uranium enrichment plants. So it's not going to be hard. Look, they're really close. I mean, you're not going to use up that much fuel in Fordow, and of course Natanz we know about because Israel has already shown it can reach Natanz. And our friends at MEK gave up Natanz in 2006 when they were first cheating. And then we have a couple of deep mines, Saghand and Gachin. Now that's what those 30,000-pound bombs are for, and the B-2 bombers. I don't know what we have them there for, but not to take those out. And they are within striking distance as we speak. Oh, by the way, that's 1/4 of the B-2 bombers that we have. So I don't know. How much is that? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits. Come on. Now you want to take out a little yellow cake, you can go here. See right here? Let me get this away for a second so you can see it. You should get rid of some yellow cake. I mean, you don't want to have there's the yellow cake in Artican right there. See, Artican right there. I mean, you don't want them to have yellow cake around, do you? Yeah, right there. There'll be 10 hits, 2 days. Putin, I say, Mr. President, you do that, you own him. I think you own Putin. This should be what Putin thought he could do in Ukraine. You just end this place. This guy in Tehran, he beheaded. Well, I mean, actually, if he's honest, he beheaded up to paradise to make a claim on the. Well, there's a waiting list now for the 79 virgins, but because so many Muslim terrorists have been killed. But yeah, he'd be on a waiting list for Muslim terrorists. And so I don't know. This looked like an impossible mission for the greatest Air Force in the world. I don't know, not to me. And I also think if we gave a little help and we wanted to stay out of it, I wish we don't stay out of it, but if we wanted to stay out of it, we could. I think Bibi would be happy to do this for us. He's been wanting to do this for years. And now, what kind of country is that without nuclear capacity and no money? Because we're putting sanctions on them for real. Well, it's the kind of country it should be because it's dedicated to the destruction of the Jewish people, the state of Israel, and the United States of America. So it's been dedicated to that for almost over 40 years. It's killed numerous of our citizens. If you don't count the indirect killing that China accomplishes through COVID, through fentanyl, they probably kill more of our people than anyone else that we weren't at war with. A lot of American families don't have sons and daughters because of the Islamic Empire of Iran. And Mr. President, I know you know this, but any attempt to make peace in the Middle East while they're there is a waste of time. We're just jerking around with people. You may not completely embrace that, but I don't know. I've been in this longer, going way back to the 80s when I first went to Israel and represented the government in catching Nazis and got to know Ehud Olmert and Bibi as young men and watched this. this whole two-state solution is, it's almost on purpose a way not to make peace. It's a poison pill put right in the middle of what appears to be a peace plan. It's no different than their use of language, misinformation, use of language, their Orwellian transition of what words mean. In fact, flipping what words mean. The Ministry of Peace is the place that has the nuclear weapons. So I want to make peace, but there's going to be a two-state solution. Well, that sounds great. Sounds great. Now, but doesn't it take just a short amount of intellectual analysis, not even intellectual, just a short amount of what you like to call common sense, to say that you can't be serious about that when one state is committed as its raison d'etre to the destruction of the other state and its people and its biggest sponsor, the United States. How you can't do that.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. And finally, not only would the people who the victims not want it, but the aggressors, the oppressors, the Palestinians, the Gazans, Fatah, Hamas, they've never wanted it because they have to be willing to accept the Israeli people, and they say, screw you, we're not going to accept them. 40 years we're pursuing this policy, and we still have morons, even some in your own administration, who say a two-state solution. Anybody that now says a two-state solution should go back from remedial education, okay? They're that stupid. So let's hope the president cracks through this one quickly, because I have a feeling, I have a real feeling that if we crack this big time, not some kind of namby-pamby, hit a couple of little sites and that, we just take the damn thing out. It's no use doing this unless you take it all out. You do that, you got Putin and Xi eating out of your hands for the next 3 years. They don't want to see that happen. And you will have proved to them that their worst fears about you are right. Right? Yes, you want peace, but you sure as hell can make war if it means defending the lives of your people and our greatest allies. So we are going to go tonight to a very nice dinner, which we'll tell you about tomorrow night, and show you some pictures of the ringing of the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. I've done that any number of times when I was mayor for companies that wanted the mayor there. But of course, the most famous time that I did it was when the New York Stock Exchange opened on the Monday after September 11th. And it was quite a feat because there was no power. We had to create power for them. And we did it because it was costing the United States, I think, possibly $1 trillion a day. New York is, by the way, out buying cars tonight. I don't think they're paying attention to our show, Ted.
No, exactly.
Everybody's buying cars real quick.
That's right, Mayor.
Just to emphasize my point about Iran, Russia has rejected our ceasefire proposals, but it's insisted it's taking our ideas seriously. So I think the seriously has to be injected with a little realism, which is bomb the living daylights out of Iran and sanction the living hell out of them. Right now. No more waiting. No more waiting. What are we waiting for?
Right.
Boss, you don't wait. What's this waiting stuff? Don't really get down about the Wisconsin thing, because it could mean that people there got a little batsy. They were smart enough, however, to insist on photographic identification for all voters. If we had that in America, the Democrats would absolutely have to change their party, establish a new party, and then we could have a two-party system. Because if we had photographic identification and we really knocked out the thousands and thousands of illegals they have voting, see all the Social Security numbers the illegals have gotten? or even non-citizens. Non-citizens can't vote. Even if they're legal, they can't vote. What are they getting Social Security's number for? Well, they're getting Social Security, hopefully to pay in, but a lot of them aren't. And I do happen to know when they call for extra registrations to attach phony ballots to, they go to Social Security numbers and driver's licenses because they know a lot of illegals have them. There are states who specialize in phony voting that way. The two Florida elections, as I said, turned out the right way, with Randy Fine and Jimmy Petronas moving on to the House, making things a little bit easier. Not really easy, but a little bit easier here on Liberation Day. Somehow, in addition to all of the fire that Mr. Musk is taking, which is so unfair, and much worse than fire, all of the threats to his life, and then all of the people. I mean, he must feel terribly responsible for all these innocent people. I mean, first of all, it is not a capital offense to drive a Tesla, nor is it a capital offense to stop into a store and look at a Tesla, nor is it a capital offense to walk past a Tesla store. But it's treated that way by the Democrats. And they're encouraging this. Have you heard one of them make a dramatic statement that these people should be treated as terrorists and they should go to jail for life? Have you heard any Democrat that cares enough about human life to say that? Of course not, just like you never hear them speak up in favor of Israel. The Democratic Party is either perverted, it's either communist, perverted, evil, or massive cowards like, well, I guess the symbol of that is the guy who's turned on his own people, Senator Schumer, Chuck E. Cheese. That used to be his nickname.
Chuck E. Cheese?
Chuck E. Cheese. Here in New York City, where we're sitting, which we might as well conclude with, they have actually a number 2 candidate for mayor who is an out-and-out communist. And Michael Goodwin, as you know, one of my 2 favorite columnists, has a very good column about Mr. Zoran. Mr. Zoran is supported by, and this will definitely let you know that he's both a communist and an Islamic extremist lover, Linda Sarsour and Representative Rashida Tlaib, both people who give aid and comfort to Hamas and the other terrorist groups who kill Jews and Americans. He's an avowed socialist in the heart of American capitalism, New York City. He's endorsed by the Democrat Socialists of America. He supports Bernie Sanders. Now, let's just see if he's a communist. He wants to raise the minimum wage to $30 an hour. Well, that would get rid of about 20% of Manhattan and New York City. He wants to give child care free, while also raising substantially the wages of child care workers, and he wants to do that. He also wants to have a government-run grocery store, which will give out food for free, and he'll do it by raising taxes on the wealthy. News for Zoran. There are not too many wealthy left, and if you do it, there'll be none. So you're going to be raising taxes on the illegals that you brought here. Let's see how much they can make in taxes when there are no businesses here. Now, he doesn't want to defund the police. Just wants to take money away from them. Well, that's the typical lying communist scum, right? At least some of these people said defund the police. He says the police have too much money and power. So he's going to take the money away from them, give it to social programs, and also open a Department of Community Safety, which will be looking after the police. Now, this guy has raised more money than anyone else other than Cuomo in running. And he's getting the support of communists all over the country for America's greatest city. We've had communists before. De Blasio was a communist. We wouldn't admit it, but he was. And we go back in our history, we've had some other communists in the history of New York City. The Democratic Party draws them because they're so close to being communists themselves. This guy graduated from the Bronx High School of Science, which means we educated him for free, and Bowdoin College, which I think is out of Siberia, in Maine. And he's got a degree in African studies, which means he should go to Africa and help Africa and stay the hell out of New York. His opposition to Israel is total. He's so extreme that he was arrested in a rally in front of Schumer's house. Now, maybe he gets credit for flipping Schumer on the Jewish people. He's the guy who got Schumer to turn on his own people and start interfering illegally in the race in Israel, when he decided that, oh, Russian collusion is bad, even though it didn't happen, but Schumer's collusion in Bibi's election, even though the country was on fighting for its survival, he should do that. He should be involved. He's allowed to do that. And now, if we look back on it, we realize if Bibi had been defeated, we'd still have Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, Assad, and Iran would be too powerful for us to really attack. So whose side is this slime ball on? And also, how much money is he worth? And the reason they want to kill Musk is Musk made a really, really good point. He said any member of Congress, House, Senate, who during the time that they were in Congress, made millions and millions of dollars, should be placed under investigation. Wow. Do you know if that had been done 30 to 40 years ago? Harlem, the bad areas of Chicago that produced those weekend murder and slaughters, the Philadelphia that created a record under Soros's DAs for murder, the St. Louis that created a record for murder under Soros, the Rochester that created a record for murder under Soros's DA, and the New York City that has gone through hell. None of that would have happened. None of it. Absolutely none of it would have happened. So, wow. I don't know that he ever got a chance. I don't know that he ever got a chance to explain it this way. But Malcolm X said that the biggest downfall of the black people and the biggest racists of all were the white liberals. And I don't know what he meant by that exactly. It could mean a lot of things, but I'm going to tell you what I mean by it. And one of the reasons I changed being a Democrat. If the Democrat Party had not been as corrupt as it is, if congressmen like Charlie Rangel didn't walk away from a career in Congress worth 25, 30 million, and David Dinkins didn't get a payoff for the inner city broadcasting company of over $1 million, and on and on and on and on. Congressman in Baltimore, 30 million, congressman here, 20 million, the big mouth from Los Angeles is worth millions. I mean, she sure didn't make it on her wise stock investments. She looks like she has a hard time figuring out what street she's on. You go follow these congressmen, particularly, I would link it to ones that are representing impoverished areas where a lot of federal money has gone there to help them, because that federal money has gone into their damn pockets and not into the pocket of their people. And it's been going back to the Great Society. It's the reason why, among other reasons, the Great Society is the worst thing that ever happened to domestic America. And if you stop that corruption and that money starts going to the people, my God, if that money ever went to Harlem that was supposed to go to Harlem, and the black politicians in Harlem didn't steal it, along with some of the white, Harlem would be Monaco. Well, that's my last thought for today. How to make Harlem Monaco. Get rid of the crooked politicians. How to make New York the great capital of the world that it used to be. Get rid of the Democrats. It's never been governed honestly under Democrats for 170 years. What the hell do you think you'd be doing it now for? They didn't even vote for Abraham Lincoln. This place has an illness, serious illness of brainwashing. Not the only place, but the prime place because it's the greatest city in the world. And it won't be the greatest city in the world much longer if it keeps going in this direction, and it breaks my heart. I gave everything I could to turn it around, and I did. I went from Time Magazine, The Rotting of the Big Apple under David Dinkins, to Time Magazine under Rudy Giuliani, The Revival of Urban America. Where are we now? And it's because of the Democrats. I'm sorry. It's all political. It is. It's insidious what they do in big cities. I don't know what they do outside of big cities, but in big cities, they instinctually become criminals, including their judges. And their judges may be the worst. Well, pray for New York City, my city of my birth and the city I lived in all my life until a year ago, and the city I still love the most. And pray for the people waiting for peace in Israel, in Ukraine, waiting for freedom in Iran, and for all the people in the United States, such good people. We made such good decisions. Keep us in your prayer, in your guidance, God. Let us continue don't let us slip. Our job isn't done. You know, you gave us the opportunity, but as John Kennedy said, on earth, the work of God is truly our own. You give us free will, and then we do with it what we do with it. We got a lot of things to fix to make this a great country. And if this isn't a great country, we're not going to have much of a world. So we need your help, God. God bless America. We'll see you tomorrow night at 7 and then at 8 on X, right here. America's Made Alive.